Remittances play a very important role in the economies of Central Asian countries and provide a vital lifeline to families and communities throughout Central Asia. Having accumulated only limited or no savings from previous transfers, families and communities rely heavily on remittances being sent regularly to meet their basic needs. The vast majority of remittances in the Russian Federation Central Asia corridor are sent using money transfer operators, MTOs, in cash, requiring migrants and families receiving remittances to engage in face-to-face transaction. The business lockdowns and social distancing requirements during COVID have caused a surge in demand for digital remittance services, thus accelerating the shift from cash to digital options. IOM's recent research aimed to better understand remittance behaviour and see how the digital revolution can best be harnessed for the benefit of migrants and their families.
In August of last year, IOM launched the project Mitigating the Socioeconomic Effects of the COVID-19 Pandemic on Migrants and Communities in the Russian Federation and Central Asia, funded by the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. One of the main objectives of this project was to examine remittance patterns in the region and, in particular, to look at the uptake of digital remittance services between the Russian Federation and Central Asia. Digital remittances have the potential to bring millions of migrants and their families into the financial system, giving them access to products and services that can improve their lives and make it more likely that they'll achieve their financial goals. In order to realize this potential, though, we need to understand current trends as well as the obstacles that migrants and their families may face in accessing digital services. So, some of the key questions we were asking in this research project were, first of all, to what extent are migrants and their families already using digital remittance services? What are some of the obstacles that this group faces when they're trying to access digital remittances? And what are some of the more behavioral or perception issues that might prevent people from trying to use digital remittance services? By answering these questions, we can start to develop programs that improve the financial inclusion of migrants and their families.
This research consists of two components, the supply side and the demand side. We want to look at barriers to digital remittances uptake from both perspectives. From the demand side, we did several surveys with migrants and recipients. We did 500 surveys with migrants in the Russian Federation, 400 surveys with migrants in Kazakhstan, and 800 respondents with families who live in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, who receive remittances from family members working in the Russian Federation and in Kazakhstan.
Мы проанализировали существующую инфраструктуру денежных переводов в России и странах Центральной Азии и выяснили следующее. Уже сейчас лидеры рынка денежных переводов, российские операторы «Золотая корона», Юнистрим, «Контакт» позволяют переводить деньги с карты, выпущенной в России. Кроме того, полностью цифровой перевод с карты на карту также возможен в отдельных случаях. По стоимости цифровой перевод практически не отличается от перевода наличными. Как известно, в нашем регионе комиссия за трансграничный перевод одна из самых низких в мире. С незначительными колебаниями она держится на уровне 1-2%. Мигранту получить банковскую карту в России в принципе не так сложно. Заявление на выпуск карты можно оформить дистанционно, а при получении в отделении банка необходимо предъявить паспорт, миграционную карту и документ, подтверждающий легальное пребывание на территории России. В странах Центральной Азии, куда в основном направляются денежные переводы из России, все больше населения получают банковские карты национальных платежных систем. Например, L-карт в Кыргызстане, Кортимили в Таджикистане, Хумо, Ускарт в Узбекистане. И уже сегодня на эти карты также возможен перевод.
What we find is that most people already own smartphone, both sides, both migrants and recipients. However, migrants tend to use digital remittances more than recipients. Migrants in the Russian Federation have bank cards and have used other methods of digital transfer, such as mobile money banking as well. In Kazakhstan, less so. We find that migrants in Kazakhstan still prefer to send money in cash. Migrant side, we see that there are some digital remittances usage going on, but on the recipient side, it's much less. Recipients tend to still prefer to receive cash, despite the money being sent through digital mode. The receiving end, the recipients still prefer to take cash out of the bank branch. So we want to understand who are these people who prefer to use digital remittances. And we find that there tend to be higher educated, have high level of financial literacy, they have higher trust in banks, and they tend to be male. So men are more likely to use digital remittances than women.
Our research has identified 3 key areas of future work to promote the digital and financial inclusion of migrants and their families. First of all, we need to encourage the uptake of tools for digital finance, particularly bank cards and bank accounts that are linked to smartphones. We can do this simply by making it easier to get a bank card and to get a bank account, but also by making bank cards themselves more useful and more attractive. By increasing the number of ATMs in the country, or by making digital financial services more commonplace in the market. Secondly, for those who already have the tools, they need to be encouraged to use them. Through effective messaging and promotions, we can help people to try new services, to gain trust in the technology, and to build new habits in terms of how they transfer and how they receive remittances. Finally, we need to use digital remittances as an entry point for greater financial inclusion of migrants and their families by offering other useful financial products, such as insurance programs or savings programs that help migrants and their families to achieve their long-term financial goals. The digital revolution can make amazing positive contributions in the lives of migrants and their families. We need to make sure that we're putting in place the right research, the right policies, and the right programs in order to effectively leverage this potential.